Similar to a lot of other things, we have to keep saying that this is what you need and why, and hopefully get to the point where there's enough Republicans that would join us that would support that. But we're not there yet, obviously. But I mean, as more comes out suggesting that this committee process isn't working, then we'll hopefully get more calls. Now, last week I think Senator McCain came out and said we should have a special prosecutor.
Yes.
So hopefully we're moving in that direction. But we don't have the ability under the law to order the special prosecutor. That's the problem. All right?
What is the difference between the special prosecutor?
Let's go through the group. All right, next.
Hi, I'm Jeff Axelbank from Highland Park. I just found out about this morning, so I don't know enough about it to be educated, but I'm wanting to know, maybe you're familiar with it. HR 1101, Small Business Health Fairness Act of 2017.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it?
Not by name, no.
It's supposedly it's a way for people to buy insurance through groups that are not employer-based groups.
Oh.
And so I'm wondering what your thoughts are about that. Is that going to be pull people away from the marketplace and therefore harm the marketplace? Is that a good thing?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. I know that you can on the exchange buy some small group plans, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No, this
right?
goes beyond. I think the idea, like I'm a psychologist, self-employed, and so there's been a question of whether psychologists could band together.
Oh,
to form
you
a
could
group.
band together and offer your own insurance?
Right, but we can't now.
I'll look into it. I mean, it sounds like something that would be useful.
Representative Sam Johnson, Republican of Texas.
All right, well, the fact that you sponsored my staff guy said they wrote it down. We'll look into it, but he's not necessarily the best.
My name is Steve Euro from Highland Park, and I work with Organic Consumers Association. We have an email list of 500,000 people.
If you want to just repeat the question, or if you guys
I'll
can speak
repeat it.
louder,
Go ahead.
because everyone can't
If
hear.
they can't hear you, I'll repeat it. Go ahead.
Okay, so as I say, my name's Steve Euro. I work with Organic Consumers Association. We have an email list of 500,000 people. And one of the main questions that just came to light is some proof that Monsanto is in collusion with
Yeah, you
EPA.
sent me your question.
Great.
Keep going.
The question is, a lot of people are sick, we feel, because they're eating food that's not healthy, and glyphosate has finally been proven by a lot of countries, and we have evidence now, and we need an investigation. We need some people to make good on this. We need some publicity. We might need some people to go to jail for. So I would like to know that there's going to be some teeth behind the evidence. And
Well, you sent me that question, and I decided to follow up and, try to look into it further as to what else we can do. So that's probably the best I can say right now. This is more information on it?
that's a part of our newsletter that goes out to the 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And how can we follow up with you in the future and see where this goes and see where you need our support, because we're mobilizing with other
Yeah.
organizations. If we can hit on one issue and break this corporate control, we're trying to really get some truth and some health from what people are eating, as we
This
know.
is the Roundup, the weed killer, right?
Roundup, which
Yeah.
is glyphosate.
Well, we had, one of the things that I did in the last session of Congress, on a bipartisan basis actually, was a bill called TSCA, which dealt with toxic chemicals in home care, in products like this, basically anything that was being sold in the marketplace, whether it was a weed killer or a food supply or anything of that nature. And so I'm going to look into it for you and see, to what extent we can rev this up and have more of an investigation and get to the bottom of it.
That would be phenomenal.
All right, I'll hold on to it.
And I can follow up with your office? with our
Absolutely.
political
I'm going to
director.
hold on to this myself because I'm going to take it
Again, the organization is Organic Consumers Association.
Did you put your name on there?
I don't,
Or why don't you put your name in? Give me your name and phone number, email, whatever, and then give it back.
okay.
All right, thanks, before we're done. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll do
Yeah,
it.
just give it back. Go ahead.
Hi, Philip Brooks from Highland Park, and thank you for giving us this forum.
Speak up, please.
Philip Brooks from Highland Park, and I was lucky enough to have a question asked. I was able to ask a question last time, 7 years ago. And,
7 years ago.
when you mentioned you had the town hall with the people. You don't remember? So what I would like to bring to fore now is about the Taylor Force Act. It's HR 1164, also sponsored by Republicans. But it's to stop giving subsidies to the Palestinian Authority while they still compensate terrorists for doing terrorist acts. In other words, when the terrorist commits a terrorist act, then they will give them stipends for, I don't know, years or life. So this act wants to limit compensation for the Palestinian Authority until they change their rules and stop compensating terrorist acts. And
Now,
that's-
go ahead, you finished?
so I was wondering if you could maybe look into it. Maybe
I will definitely look into
I
it.
believe it's in committee, so I guess it's not really a bill yet, but that's something maybe that you could look into if you.
Sure. Is that something on it? Your name on there?
My name's not on.
Oh, then put your name and you give it back to me. But can I ask you one, and your phone number or
Repeat
email?
the question, please.
You want to repeat it or you want me to? Actually, I was going to ask him a question, so let me ask him a question and then we'll probably get the idea. The Palestinian Authority receives aid from the U.S. government. But there's always an issue as to whether they're using it for the right thing. It's supposed to be for humanitarian assistance, not, for guns or, military equipment or whatever that's used against Israel. So he's asking that, I don't know, completely or some of that aid, if it seems to be going to, non-humanitarian purposes, should be frozen, shouldn't be sent. Now, are you saying that we shouldn't send any aid to the Palestinian Authority, or is this a certain type of aid?
I believe the bill is for a limited amount.
A limited amount based on evidence that they are using some of it for military purposes or terrorist purposes?
Well, it's actually compensation to the families of the terrorists. So.
Compensation to the families of the terrorists.
Right. So the terrorists will go
Oh,
out
I
and do
see.
a terrorist deed, and then they give the family a certain amount of money per month.
But is it only going to families that were killed, where the terrorists were killed, or do we know?
If the terrorist, if a bomber, goes and commits suicide, suicide bomber, and he is successful and he kills some Israelis.
Then you're saying that they give money to that family?
They give money to that family.
Oh, okay.
And in this case, this is for Taylor Force, who is an American citizen that was killed by a.
So you're just talking about eliminating that, that's what you're talking about?
Eliminate, right, and now is to pressure the Palestinian Authority from compensating terrorists from the money that we give them, from the aid that we give them.
Okay. Well, let me take a look at it. I mean, I understand what you're saying now.
Okay.
And you put your name, well, you
No.
gotta give me your
No.
name.
Yeah.
Name and phone number. All right, go ahead.
Hi,
Don't
Stephen
forget to give those to me though, guys. Go ahead.
Stephen Esposito from Edison, New Jersey. I was forwarded a summary of a 2014 Princeton study concluding that special interest groups and lobbyists are at the root of most issues with representative government for ordinary citizens like ourselves. So could you explain the ethical concerns of legislators that go and become lobbyists when they retire and find work in lobbying firms? And would you yourself ever consider doing that when you leave Congress?
Well, I'm not planning on it, that's What'd you say?
I said, I don't think anyone plans on it.
Okay, you'd be surprised. Look, let me say this. The issue of special interests, influence, money is certainly important, and I think it's good that you raise it. I don't think it's true. I don't know if that's what you were suggesting, but you sort of said something in the beginning that might give the impression that you know, that the special interests and lobbyists have more say over what we do
Well,
than the people.
what I had seen was a summary, and I started to read the actual study itself,
Yeah.
and of course, it was exaggerated by the group that wanted to share a
Yeah.
viral Facebook video, and, you know, they kind of exaggerated everything.
I mean, if anything, yesterday, you know, well, Friday showed, I think, very dramatically that, you know, grassroots activity, the public in general probably have a lot more influence than lobbyists do, all right? But I'm not suggesting that lobbyists don't have influence, nor am I suggesting that lobbying is necessarily bad, because a lot of times lobbyists give you good ideas too, right? But I do think that we need to eliminate a lot of the special interest money that is part of, increasingly part of campaigns. And that's why I was very unhappy with Citizens Unite. Was it Citizens United? Yeah. Opinion, which basically allows for, you know, unlimited corporate contributions, you know, secret money, no, lack of transparency, whatever. And so I've been very much involved in, you know, in co-sponsoring legislation, supporting constitutional amendments that would, you know, basically get rid of this, you know, unlimited corporate dollars without any transparency, okay? Well, as far as me, I mean, I'm not planning on meeting anytime soon.